I honestly didn't think I'd be back here with you guys. I mean, I've got the new one, right? It's supposed to have more power. But, you know, the other day I pulled up beside a 370Z and he gave me the wave and I gave him the nod and beep, beep, beep. I've never even seen the front of a 370Z. I mean, of course, until he came back around and gave me this. You know, I don't even like dollar margaritas.
Thanks for sharing. I see some new faces today. Would you like to share your story?
Hi everyone, I'm James.
Hi, James.
I'm 29 and I own a Miata.
So brave.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And this is the new Toyota GR86.
GR for Gazoo Racing, Toyota's fancy way of saying that this thing means business. At under $30,000 US new, it keeps its bittersweet title as one of the only affordable, lightweight, rear-wheel drive sports cars you can buy.
Like its mechanical twin, the Subaru BRZ, it keeps the same formula as before, but this time it gets, among other things, a new look and more displacement with a 2.4-liter flat-4 boxer engine. And no, there is not a turbo in sight. It's au naturel. Just the way we like it. Let's go. If you're new to Throttle House, we do car reviews, track tests, and quite a lot of messing around. So subscribe and hit the bell.
Oh, this is long awaited, long awaited. You're looking at one of the original BRZ owners here. The twins, the 86 and the BRZ, I've always credited with just being the pure essence of car enthusiasm. The beauty, the balance of a lightweight rear-wheel drive car is second to none. And now, thanks to the upgrades, the increased bore size, the changes to the exhaust systems, the optimization of the fuel injection, we have more power. It's gone from 205 horsepower to 228. And then a bigger jump is 156 pound-feet of torque has jumped to 184. So it pushes harder, it pulls harder, and it only weighs a tiny bit more. Does it feel quick around the track? I mean, like the Miata, this has always been a momentum car, but yes, you can feel the extra push. And it revs out nicely. The sound in 86s has never been something to write home about. It's always been a bit of a... And in this one, it still goes, but maybe just a bit more aggressively. It's more like... But you know what? I can't complain about that because I was actually quite worried. The last 86 I was in was the TRD, and they had the TRD exhaust on that, and it was super boomy on the highway. Thankfully, despite the extra power and displacement here, this doesn't boom. And by boom, I mean the vibration in your ears while you're driving, which gets very uncomfortable. So, thumbs up. That, coupled with more torque being available down low, actually makes this easier to live with every day. The shifter feels incredibly similar, I would argue it's the same. Clutch is the same. There's a lot that's very similar to the last one, but with more power. Although I will say, there does seem to be one thing missing. Let me explain. In the previous 86s, they suffered from torque dip in the middle of the rev range. So you'd put your foot down, and then there'd be push as you built the revs, and then it would level out weirdly, and then there'd be more push again. You actually had to drive around it. And weirdly, in the later years, they included a graphic in the gauge cluster that showed the actual dip in the graph. They showed you where they had to make compromises. Not a deal breaker, but in the latest model, thanks to all the changes, 86s no longer come with that pesky torque dip. So Thomas might be disappointed, but it's actually a very good thing.
So, with not much more weight and quite a bit more everything else, what happens when you put the new one against the last generation in a quarter-mile race?
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh. Okay, off the line similarly. Torque's already kicking, and he's falling behind as this makes a slightly better sound. More power, no dip. Across the finish line. So, new one, quite a bit quicker than the old one. Oh, he's motioning to line up again. Why is that? He hasn't. He's only gone and done it. This is mean of Thomas, because what he's done is brought out a Miata MX-5, Mazda MX-5. And if he's smart, that's the ND2, which means it has the horsepower upgrade, so it's still doesn't match this for horsepower, but it is a lot lighter. It's arguably the best car in the world, depending on who you ask. But it's really mean though, because I lose either way. If I win in this, the Miata loses and I'm hurt. And if I lose in this, I lose. It might be the meanest thing Thomas has ever done. I want to go back to when he used to kick puppies. All right, but let's see what we can do. The main rival of this car, the ND2. Good grip. Oh, he's taken off the line faster because he's lighter. But I think I've got him in the top end. Oh, he's close. Oh, he's close. Oh, I think I've just taken him. I just took it. Oh, that felt like I killed a brother. That felt like fratricide. Oh. So there you go, they are neck and neck. And everything was perfect, the launch, the shifting, aircon's off, I'm sweating like a goose. The goose sweat? The geese sweat?
Okay, I googled it. They don't sweat. Fascinating. More interesting though is that the new GR86 can finally take on the ND2 Miata RF in straight line speed. And yes, a soft-top Miata with the weight savings might have fared a little better, but then Thomas might have won, and we wouldn't want that.
On the track. This is the most important part of this car. This is the part of this car that they absolutely cannot, could not, should not screw up. Because the best part about the 86 and the BRZ and this whole chassis has always been the way that it goes around a corner. The center of gravity is low, it's stiff, the steering is communicative, it turns in and is predictable in the way that it breaks away. And I'm happy to report that for the most part, it's exactly the same. We actually have, obviously, that other 86 here today. I back-to-backed it on the track. They feel pretty much the same. That one was on premises though. This one is on Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, which means that it has more grip, and more grip in an 86 is not necessarily what you want, because I want to be able to do stuff like this. I still can, because there's more power. Yes, we have been living with this. In fact, our camera guy Karston has been driving it around a lot. And he's an owner of the original Scion FRS. And he can report back happily that it is more comfortable to live with. The damping is better on the road. Damping's better on the track too. The original one would bounce a lot. They did upgrade it later with better Sachs dampers, but I think this is just one stage above. But so minor, so minor. They kept almost the exact same formula. It's wonderful.
If I was gonna gripe about something, it would be the fact that the steering isn't as good as the original Scion FRS or Subaru BRZ. The first couple years of that car, in my opinion, I thought had the most communicative front end. This is a little bit more numb, just a little bit more numb, but still very good for electric power steering. And there's a reason that we love this formula. James and I harp on about it. Rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, naturally aspirated, limited slip differential. It's because it's fun. If I were to nitpick, which I do, and I'm about to, without the premises, I find that the breakaway characteristics are not quite what I remember them to be. Like, this is, there you go, that was perfectly fine, but I just did one before that I ended up in a four-wheel slide almost off the track. Don't really know why or what's going on there. It feels pretty consistent most of the time, but it's worth noting that there's something a little bit different, a little bit off, and I can't put my finger on it. By the way, this is a Throttle House track test, which doesn't usually have a funny skit at the beginning. We just couldn't resist. But that does mean that we're gonna do a lap time.
Okay, time for the hot laps. As usual, our rules are 1 warm-up lap, 3 hot laps, and 1 cool-down lap. Now, the 8.6. You are looking at the fastest lap of the 3, and as much as we always say these are momentum cars, which is silly because all cars are kind of momentum cars anyway, I found that I could drive this car a lot more on the throttle than the previous car. That little extra boost of power really does help. The transmission was wonderful to use and it feels stiff and well balanced. The only difficulties I had were the tires, which really felt like they weren't giving me consistent grip. But other than that, it's an easy car to drive at the limit. Let's finish the lap.
Okay.
You didn't look that quick, I'll say that.
Well, I mean, it is still what it is. It is a lightweight, low-powered, rear-wheel drive, fun car.
Well, we have a group. We have a group.
Yeah, we have had meetings.
It looks good in motion, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's very well balanced. I mean, like all the things that we said, it is still very much this, with some more straight line speed.
Yes.
Yes.
Or as we found out. But
Yeah.
what happens on the track?
Okay, so this is on the PS4s.
Yeah, this is the premium. So we got 18-inch wheels, PS4s.
Yep.
Otherwise, you still get the premises.
Right. That's which is still fun. The thing is that the premises, I haven't driven this car in the premises, obviously only this one.
Yeah.
But the PS4s now do feel quite right for this car in terms of the power level. As you saw, I can still do slides and stuff, right? It feels when you're
Well, you got crazy downforce.
so
Because
much, just
the
huge.
The premium comes with the duckbill.
I have a feeling you could drive this on the upside out of a tunnel. You know what I mean? Just
100%.
that much.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that marketing film. It will be as true as the TLX Type S mark. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying?
I thought we were off that now. I thought we moved on.
I was.
Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
so the hot lap. So this was a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense.
Right.
Okay, so it did, fastest lap was a 1:15.9.
150. You know what? That is
Kind of
about
right.
where I thought it was
Was
going to
it?
be. Yeah.
Okay.
Our team has been so excited for this car.
Yes,
More
yes.
than GT500s, Corvettes, M5s, everyone has, because we're a team of car enthusiasts, everyone is a diehard. And this has been such an exciting car. And there was a lot of guessing going on while you were driving.
Yes, how quick it was going to be.
Our audio engineer,
Yeah.
Harrison, thought that this would do a 1:13.9, and I told him he was on drugs. And some of the other guesses were around the 1:15, 1:16 mark.
The thing is that Karston, our camera guy, who's over there right now, he has
very handsome.
he is very good. Look at him. He's covering his face from the sun. So the FRS is what he has, the original one.
Yes.
And he has it on Hankook RS4s, which are like a 200 tread wear, like track tire.
Right.
Right. And we lapped it out here. We tested it and it did like a low 115. So the delta between sticky, like track-specific tires and lower power, the 159 kind of does make sense the more I think about it. What I did notice though is I got one good lap in, because if I actually go into here, my lap times went 1:15.9, 1:16.8, 1:16.7.
So it was getting warm.
It's like literally I got one lap out of the tires and they started to go down. It was a fun lap, but it just like it started to understeer a lot.
Well, it's still, I found it could carry its weight into the corners really well.
It did, yeah.
The damping's still fun. Like, it's still.
It's not super race car. The cool thing about any of these chassis, new or old, is that if you do some minor suspension tweaking and put really good tires on it, all of a sudden it sets crazy lap times. Just because it's so well balanced.
I think that's what this is for so many people.
Yes.
It is a base car. Even in premium foam, it's something to play with. I owned a 2013 and I never changed it. And even with the torque dip, I never changed it and I loved it.
It was delicious.
But people do see this as a canvas to have some fun with.
Which is what they should be, and that's why I like them.
Speaking of canvases and art.
Yeah, and art. Yeah.
How do you think it looks?
Yeah, the BRZ doesn't look as good as this, I'll say
Do you
that.
think so?
Oh, I haven't seen it in person.
They look the same.
I
They
thought
look
this,
the same.
Fine. Okay, here's the thing. When they redid the front end of this off the Scion FRS,
Right.
here anyway, in North America, I thought, I'm like, oh no, they just overstyled it, they put too much, and then I was so worried that this was going to be even more overstyled, and they didn't. They went simpler and cleaner, which was the right decision.
It looks great in person.
It really
and
does.
This color, it's actually, I don't know if it's coming out, it looks it's an orangey red.
Yeah.
And it's a new color called Track B Red. Track Bread.
No.
Yes, I laughed.
Oh, that's so cheesy.
It's very cheesy.
Track B red.
Yeah.
It is track bread.
Track bread.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, we're missing this little vent on the side here, which cleaned up that area nicely.
It did, and then we got this vent instead.
Yes, which is real.
It's
by the
real.
way. It's
It's
real.
real.
And this one over here is real. Well, half of it is anyway, right? A little bit of brake cooling.
And then on the back, instead of GT86, we've got GR, because it's Gazoo Racing now.
Yeah, that's right.
And the duckbill spoiler with the premium.
Huge downforce, as you say. I think this is a cleaner look than that particular spoiler. I don't mind that one.
I still love the look of this.
No, it's still great. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me- I love the look of this car, no question. But I think what they did do was they didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
They kept it clean. It still looks like this car. Like it still is obviously what it is. And I don't know, I think they nailed it. I have no issues with the outside of this car.
I agree.
Well done, guys.
Well
It's
done.
not often that we say that.
But did they mess up the inside?
Ooh, let's go find out.
All right, inside the GR. Oh, it says GR on the start-stop now.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
By the
I
way,
didn't notice that.
the GR guys have fun.
Yeah.
They recently released a concept image
Yep.
of like all the extreme mods they would do.
Yep.
And it's like wide body with carbon fibers, like vents everywhere.
Yep.
So, you know.
It's a modder's car, and that's why it is very simple in here. However, there's a few things that I feel like there was an opportunity to improve on, or at least stay the same, and they didn't do. Number one, there's no grab handle here.
For like passenger comfort.
You always bring in your friends to the track with this car. You go in the evening.
You think you can drift it, you spin out.
Exactly.
They get scared.
Yeah, exactly. You want your friend to have a handle to hold on to, and there isn't. There's a little thing here, but it's not the same. But this car is about simplicity. Important things: manual transmission and a manual handbrake. Lots of space for your head and a helmet, pedals, good driving position, really everything you'd need, right?
And these seats feel comfortable. I didn't feel that different.
No.
They're a bit different.
Like I have to spend hours in them to decide which seat is better. They're that similar, right?
Well, remember, whoever's optioned this has decided to go for the premium package. So
The premium.
thousands more, and these seats are Alcantara and leather, and
Yeah.
and there's like these are leather touch surfaces have changed.
Yeah, and then we got the Alcantara, the hood.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, the gauge cluster. I gotta talk about this.
3-mode gauge cluster.
Three mode.
Yeah.
If you push this traction control button, it's really cool. It gives you the little rev gauge. The problem with it is twofold. One, it's not very bright, no matter what angle you're looking at.
No,
It's
neither
just
is this screen.
No, it's also a bit dull. This isn't much of an upgrade to the other ones that are like.
It's simple though. Like the first one was god awful. Like
No, it was
in 2012, it was
so bad.
It was criminal.
Yeah, it was really.
I think
really bad.
people went to jail over it.
No, this isn't much better, but it's totally usable. You know, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But this, if you put this in this mode, where your like traction control off, looks cool, right?
Yeah.
But now, you can't adjust any of the information, right?
It does sound pretty good.
It does sound pretty
It does
good.
sound better.
No, I do like the sound. I have no complaints there. But I mean, hold on, this is important because I want to know my tire pressures when I'm in track mode.
Oh.
And I can't.
And that's specifically for track mode.
As far as I understand it, I
Yeah.
could be wrong. Maybe there's a way to do it, but if I take it out of track mode, then I have the ability again to go through the menus.
There's a torque graph.
Right? Yeah, there's your torque graph. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it shows a little bit of torque dip, but nowhere near compared to the hilarious one from before, right?
Well, but it gets to peak torque before the dip.
right. Yeah. It's a boom.
Yeah.
But otherwise, these are a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's cleaner. This is bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, it's not that much. The steering wheel's exactly the same, minus the new GR badge.
Yeah. Well, they've kept to the formula.
They have.
It's not, I don't want to say it. Don't want to say it's not a revolution, it's an evolution.
Oh, you're
I
gonna
think
do
because then you go to prison with the same people that designed the original infotainment. But it really
it?
is.
Bad cliche prison.
It's a wonderful thing to see. I mean, yeah, I guess if you consider 10 years on. But the damping's great. They've improved enough. I think the style is better now. They've brought it into the modern age.
Yeah.
And
See, here's the thing. From a personal perspective, I don't need this car to be much more than what you see right here. Because personally, this car to me is a car that I'm going to buy, used 10 years from now. I'm going to strip it out, put a cage in it, and I'm going to race it. Like that's what this is. It's just a good chassis. It has a limited slip differential, manual transmission. It's got all the stuff that you need to go racing.
easy
right?
to say though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
In 10 years from now, I'm going to put a cage in it. I'm going to be really
I
cool.
probably won't. I'll still be an idiot racing old broken BMWs.
10 years from now, we'll be bodybuilders, jumping out planes. Anything can happen in 10 years.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what this car is to me. Is what I mean. It is a simple, pure sports car. I'm not going to be too picky about this because it's fine. It gets the job done. I don't care about this. I care about what happens out there. But I'm pointing at the track, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Because it's over there.
No, I think they've done a great job here.
Yeah, it's fine. They nailed it. It's exactly what it needed to be.
So, the 86 hasn't changed dramatically since its debut 10 years ago. Whether or not that's a bad thing will leave up to you to decide, but at least Toyota has fine-tuned the formula. It's not the new Nissan Z killer that some people may have wanted it to be, but it was never supposed to be, not at this price point. And if you're upset that it didn't get a turbo, well, the 86 has one of the healthiest aftermarkets around. The car is your canvas.
And as for its drop-top competitor, the MX-5, the 86 is still the fixed-roof, more practical answer. And if you're over 6 feet, you can actually fit in it. Both cars are phenomenal though, and both have their strengths. Choosing between them is like choosing a favourite child, something that only my dad seems to have mastered. How lucky we are though, however small the option pool, to still have a choice of new and improved, affordable, fun sports cars. Thanks for watching.